Hi, listener. This is From Ideology to Unity, a spiritual journey where we let go of ideological doctrine and ego in favor of meaning and purpose and unity as a whole. So, firstly, I'll preface this by saying the most important thing in spirituality is that you use your own discernment to intuitively find what resonates with you. That's probably the most important thing in spirituality, other than, also doing the inner work, shadow work, and because the external and the internal reflect each other, right? That's a Hermetic principle. It has to do with the mirror effect and the law of correspondence. But what we're going to express here is my subjective stance, let's say, on how to tell if what you're hearing or reading is negatively orientated. But of course, make up your own mind. That's the most important thing. My perspective is, if what you're hearing is saying that you can only trust them to know what the truth is, and that the rest are all tricking you or all part of some negative agenda, and only they are giving you the truth, and that they are the only ones you can trust and rely upon to know the truth. If they're giving if they're fear mongering in what they say, spreading a lot of, fear and negativity in their message, and they're saying all these other people, they're all just tricking you, and we are the only ones who can save you or help you, and you've got to rely only on us because like they're your saviors, and the rest you just got to sort of isolate from those. Then I would say, first of all, keep in mind that that is something that a cult will do. They're saying, isolate yourselves from the others, just go to us and rely on what we tell you. And it's kind of like this, gaslighting technique that narcissists might use, where they'll be like, yeah, you can only rely on me, everyone else, they can't save you, only I can. So it's on this depowering thing, where they might even tell you to use your own discernment, but then like the next thing is they're like telling you what to believe, and only that, right? Whereas of course, if they're serious about that, they're not really going to be telling you what to believe. They'll be clear that it's just their perspective, right? That said, I suppose they can be quite cunning if they're negatively orientated, in my opinion. But I've realized that I have an attachment, or I realized I had an attachment last night to basically I realized that I had a fear of people being tricked by those with a negatively oriented message and trying to control the outcome so that people would realize the truth. I came across what to me seemed like a negative message that was very fear-mongering and based on a theory that basically they had the only avenue to spiritual awakening and that the rest were just tricking you, right? So, yeah, and I realized that people are on their own path, okay? So if someone comes across that and they buy into it, for a while, or even they completely buy into it the whole time, the rest of their lives, right? That's their path in life. And it's not for us to try to change the outcome and control what they believe, right? I can state my truth, you can state your truth. But if you're trying to change someone's mind and you're attached to that and trying to, in a sense, exert a control over what someone believes by trying to change the outcome regarding their own beliefs, what you're trying to do is, you're trying to exert control. And that isn't really positively orientated. So I had to check myself a little bit and be like, what am I doing here? What's my approach? Because, just because a certain approach works for you doesn't work for someone else. Everyone is on their own path. So while I'm saying my perspective about what the telltale signs of a negatively oriented message are, this is just my truth in this moment. I might change my mind, and I need to accept and leave space for other messages and other people buying into or aligning with what resonates with them. And if people are afraid, they might resonate with a fearful message, but they might change their mind. There is a divine plan that is beyond what we know here and now. And maybe being more present might be able to allow you to connect to the truth on a higher level. But ultimately, so an example I'd give about this would be the C word that everyone's been afraid of and told that you need to have a particular response to, and that it's the only acceptable way to go. Right, and we might be thinking when we come across this, oh, we need to change their minds and help them understand that it's not true that way, and that they're being tricked by maybe a negative agenda or something. But like, what if the negative agendas are actually a test and a catalyst for people to wake up? What if there's something more going on? We don't know the full divine plan, let's say, right? All we can do is use our own discernment and speak our truth authentically. As it stands now, my truth authentically is that there are certain telltale signs of a negatively oriented message, which will be that they're telling you in a kind of gaslighting way that they are the only ones you can rely upon. The rest are just tricking you, and that you just gotta believe them and what they're telling you. And that potentially they might be spreading a certain message that be afraid of this, be afraid of that, because that's a dark path, right? But they might themselves be putting things in a very dualistic way, where there's their way, which is that of light, and everything else is just the darkness, essentially, right? But of course, unity is the true nature of reality. It's all one. They might even point out to certain things where people might not be doing the inner work, spiritual bypassing, and avoiding recognizing the negative, and say, well, you've got to listen to us and what we're saying about how negative everything is, and all these negative things going on in the New Age community, tricking people, because, well, if you're not listening to us and buying into our negative message that's fearful, I guess you're just spiritually bypassing and ignoring the negativity. So, yeah, they might actually use talking points that, so to speak, light workers will use in their message. And, if you come across something like that and that resonates with you, it's for you to decide what, or to intuit what you're going to align with and what you believe in. It's not for me or anyone else to tell you not to. But the same goes the other way around. If you come across another message and they're telling you, you've got to believe in this, all the other stuff, that's negative. Again, it's up to your discernment, right? Just do you want to believe in a message that's saying, where someone's saying it's my way or the highway, their way is the only way. We've been having that with organized religion for a long time. They've effectively been, organized religion has kind of shamed people with this idea of, if you're diverging from our way, you're doing it wrong and sinful, whatever, and you've got to go that way and follow their doctrine. From my perspective, that's more of the same. And there's a reason why we get into New Age spirituality, and it might be a distaste for all the doctrine and overly organized approaches, right? And give me a sec. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at this. Ultimately, it's your own discernment, attention, and awareness is key with all of these things. There's a lot of different messages going around. We don't have full access to the truth. Well, until we do, that is, I guess. We just got to work on, do our inner work, do our shadow work, and in my opinion, and what we experience in the external world and what we align with will be a reflection of where we're at. And even if you say make a mistake, whatever that is, whatever that means, and you buy into something and it is negative, that's okay. If you keep doing your inner work, you'll come to the truth yourself, right? It's not for any authority, anyone speaking authoritatively, to tell you what's true. And even if something's popular, you don't need to align with that. All you need to do the inner work and align with what resonates with you. And that can change. That could be in flux, because we are, as we do more inner work and as we raise our frequency, we can reevaluate or realign. It's until you actually are fully present. I suppose you could say it's like a work in progress. So if we stay present as much as we can, do the inner work, we'll be all right. We don't need to be afraid of whether we're being tricked or not, or whether, I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit, right? Or whether, I don't know. I suppose the key message here is actually to use your own discernment. I just also felt like expressing my perspective as well. But you're free to take it or leave it. And you're not in trouble or spiritually if you do believe in what to me would be a negative message, right? Even if you do, that's just where you're at in one moment. In another moment, you can change your perspective or keep it. It's ultimately in the moment, we use our discernment and our intuition as it goes. And I think that's the most important thing. So if you like this, feel free to like or subscribe, or don't. Either way is good. And have a nice day.